Listenscape. Press play, listen and escape.
You are listening to Morning Star. They say the wind in Celestia tastes like starlight, that it hums with the promise of eternity. But when you're plummeting through that same wind, when the sky turns cold and cruel, you learn the truth. Paradise has a sharp edge. My name is Eveleen Morningstar. 6 months ago, I stood at the edge of glory, one breath away from becoming a Seraphim, a sworn guardian of the heavenly realm. I had passed every trial. I had earned the right to fly. All that remained was the leap of faith. They told me my wings would catch me, that I was made for the sky. But fate don't always keep its promises. The wind screams past my face as I plummet through Celestia's crystalline air, and the last coherent thought I have is, I actually did it. 6 months of hell. 6 months of proving to everyone, my parents, my instructors, the candidates who whispered I'd never make it, that I belonged here, that I could be a Seraphim, a guardian of the heavenly throne. The trials nearly broke me. The test of courage should have been impossible. Walking across a bridge made of crystallized thought, suspended over an abyss that whispered your deepest fears. My first attempt ended with me crawling back to solid ground, tears streaming down my face as the other candidates watched. Marcus Goldwing actually laughed. "Maybe stick to your mother's flower arrangements, Morningstar," he'd called out. But I went back, again and again, until my legs stopped shaking, until I could cross that bridge of solidified terror like it was paved stone. The look on Marcus's face when I finally made it. Surprise, grudging respect, maybe even a flicker of fear, made every humiliation worth it. The trial of sacrifice was worse. They don't tell you what you'll have to give up until you're standing in the chamber of offerings, the weight of destiny pressing down on your shoulders. The altar glowed with inner light, and the examiner's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. What is most precious to you? What connects you to your old life? Mother's locket, the silver pendant she'd given me on my 16th birthday, engraved with words in the old tongue. May you always find your way home. Inside was a portrait of our family. Mother, father, and me before I'd ever dreamed of wings. Before I'd ever imagined a life beyond the comfortable cage of their expectations. I held it over the altar's flame, watching the silver begin to bubble and melt. The portrait curled at the edges, our faces disappearing into ash. And with it went the last tether to the girl who sculpted light into pretty shapes, who might have been content with pretty things and a pretty life. The examiner nodded. Sacrifice accepted. You may proceed. But the challenge of wisdom almost destroyed me completely. 7 days locked in a chamber with riddles that had no answers, only deeper questions. What is the weight of a dream deferred? How do you measure the distance between faith and foolishness? When does service become slavery? By the 3rd day, I was clawing at the walls, begging to be released. The questions weren't just intellectual puzzles. They were surgical tools, dissecting my motivations, laying bare every doubt I tried to bury. Why did I really want this? Was it service or was it ego? Was I trying to protect paradise or escape the mundane prison of my birth? The answer came on the 7th day, in a moment of perfect clarity. It didn't matter. The wanting itself was enough. The willingness to risk everything for the chance to become something more. That was the only answer that mattered. This morning feels like a lifetime ago. The crystal breakfast service set with Mother's finest pieces, each one catching the eternal twilight like trapped stars. Father sat rigid in his golden merchant robes, while Mother arranged celestial lilies with hands that couldn't quite stay steady. "It's not too late," Father had said, his voice carefully neutral. He still couldn't meet my eyes. Not after our fight 3 nights ago when he'd called my dream reckless vanity. House Valerius would consider it an honour. Think of the security, Eveleen. The comfortable life we could provide. My wings will have promise too. The words came out sharper than I'd intended, cutting through their careful diplomacy like a blade through silk. Mother's fingers stilled on the lily stems. She'd been crying. I could see the telltale redness around her eyes, though she'd tried to hide it with powder. Master Celeste sent another invitation just yesterday. She wants to mentor you personally. Your light sculptures have such beauty, such peace. This is what I meant to do. I stood, my trial robes rustling like wings I didn't have yet. I'm not going to spend eternity making pretty things for rich people to display in their parlours. The silence that followed was deafening. Father's knuckles went white where he gripped his morning correspondence. Mother pressed her lips together, fighting back words that would have cut deeper than any blade. "You could die," she whispered finally. "The frontier posts, the void-touched creatures, the distances from home. Seraphim die, Eveleen. They die young and far from anyone who loves them. Then at least I'll die as myself." The cruelty of it hit me as soon as the words left my mouth, but it was too late to take them back. She kissed my forehead. "We love you, our angel." The platform buzzes with nervous energy. 23 candidates made it this far, but we all know the statistics. Roughly half will manifest wings. The others, well, the Academy doesn't like to discuss failure rates. They prefer to focus on the glorious success stories, the heroes who earned their place among the guardians. Saya finds me at the platform's edge, her golden blonde hair woven with the traditional trial braids. She's been my anchor through all of this. The only person who never questioned my choice, never suggested I might be reaching too high. "You're going to be magnificent," she whispers, gripping my hand so tightly her knuckles turn white. "I can already picture you soaring, your wings catching light like living silk." "Sister guardians," I say, the traditional response. "Serving together. Can you imagine anything more perfect?" I can see it so clearly. The two of us in full Seraphim regalia, patrolling the borders of paradise, protecting everything we love from the chaos that lurks in the void between worlds. It's what I've dreamed of since I was old enough to understand what the Seraphim represented. Marcus Goldwing approaches, his perfect jaw set in practiced confidence. He's been the Academy's golden boy from day one, the son of 2 decorated Seraphim who's never failed a test in his life. His family's bloodline traces back to the first generation of guardians, and he never lets anyone forget it. "Scared, Morningstar?" he asks, though there's less malice in it than usual. Even he seems affected by the gravity of this moment. "Terrified," I admit, and his expression softens slightly. "Good. Fear keeps you honest." He looks out over the endless drop. "My father told me the fall is the purest thing you'll ever experience. Everything else? The politics, the protocols, the endless training. It's all just preparation for those few seconds when you choose to trust completely. An instructor approaches, Master Aurelius, whose own wings are legendary for their span, power, and the fact that he has not two but four wings. His presence alone makes the other candidates straighten their shoulders and lift their chins. The leap of faith, he says, his voice carrying the weight of centuries, isn't just about manifesting wings. It's about trusting the divine plan that brought you to this moment. When you step off this platform, you're not just falling, you're choosing to serve something greater than yourself. Divine plan. The words resonate in my chest like struck crystal, filling me with warmth despite the cool air. Everything has led to this moment. Every trial, every doubt, every small victory that brought me closer to my destiny. I stepped to the very edge of the platform, my toes curling over crystalline stone that's been worn smooth by centuries of hopeful feet. The drop yawns below me, infinite, beautiful, terrifying. Somewhere far beneath, lost in distance and twilight, lies the broken world we left behind. But that's not where I'm going. That's not where any of us are going. The wind carries the scent of celestial gardens, roses that bloom in impossible colours, jasmine that sings when touched by breeze, moonflowers that open only in the presence of pure joy. This is the air of paradise, and I'm about to become part of its protection. Master Aurelius nods to me. Whenever you're ready, Candidate Morning Star. I close my eyes, feeling the warm wind against my face. Somewhere behind me I hear Kaya whisper a prayer in the old tongue. My parents' faces flash in my mind. Mother's tears, father's rigid disapproval masking desperate love. They'll understand when I rise on silver wings, when I prove that some dreams are worth the risk. I open my eyes and step forward into forever. The fall begins. The words echo now as I plummet, wind tearing at my white trial robes like eager hands. Above me, the golden spires of home shrink against the eternal twilight. The Seraphim trial ground, that massive crystal platform jutting from Celestia's heart, grows smaller with each heartbeat. Any second now, my wings will unfurl. I stretch my arms wide, feeling the air's sweet resistance. The transformation should be beginning. White feathers bursting from my shoulder blades, the rush of divine power as gravity releases its hold, the sacred moment when falling becomes flying. The other candidates are tiny figures now, white specks against the crystal platform. They're watching, waiting, counting the seconds until my metamorphosis begins. Some of them are probably jealous. I can already tell this will be a long fall, which means powerful wings when they finally emerge. My heart sings with anticipation, literally producing a melody that harmonizes with the rushing wind. After all the pain, all the doubt, all the nights, I wondered if I was strong enough. I'm here. I'm doing it. The air grows denser as I fall deeper into Celestia's atmosphere. Clouds begin to form around me, wisps of silver vapor that part like curtains. The city's details become clearer from this new angle. The spiraling towers of the upper terraces where my family waits, the hanging gardens of the middle levels, even the industrial beauty of the lower foundries. It's all so perfect, so beautiful. This is what I'll spend eternity protecting. I rotate gracefully in the air, learning to move in 3 dimensions. Already my body seems to understand the physics of flight, preparing for the moment when wings will transform me from falling girl to soaring guardian. The air grows colder, thicker, I must have been falling for minutes now, which means my wings will be especially magnificent when they emerge. Some candidates transform after 30 seconds, others need longer. The record holder fell for 8 minutes before manifesting wings so powerful they could carry 2 people. I rotate gracefully, looking back toward paradise. The movement feels natural, as if I'm already learning to navigate 3 dimensions like a true flyer. Celestia gleams like a jewel, and I can still make out tiny figures on the platform. Wait, the platform is a speck, a distant point of light, barely visible against the city's glow. How long have I been falling? The cold knot in my stomach has nothing to do with altitude. I've been in free fall too long. Much too long. Celestia looks impossibly far away. Details I could see clearly moments ago now lost to distance. No, the thought is ice water in my veins. No, I must be mistaken. I passed the trials, proved myself worthy. The instructors wouldn't have let me leap if they weren't certain. I twist, looking down for the first time. The broken world of Terra fills my vision. Twisted metal, shattered concrete, the skeletal remains of what humanity left behind when we ascended from our mortal existence. It rushes toward me at terminal velocity, a graveyard of rust and ruin that shouldn't exist, that can't be real because I'm supposed to be growing wings, supposed to be... No! The scream tears from my throat, but the wind devours it. I'm falling toward damnation, toward the corpse of the old world. And there are no wings, no transformation, no divine plan except the one that ends with my body shattered against. The impact comes like the end of everything. I should be dead. The impact was horrendous, but something slowed my descent right before I hit the ground. My wings unfurled and slowed my fall, but not enough. I hit the ground hard, my wings broken, and enough cuts and bruises for a lifetime. However, regardless of all this, a clear and distinct thought rises from my traumatized mind. I was betrayed. Someone tampered with my metamorphosis. The end. To stay tuned for many more stories like this, hit the like and subscribe button.